Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live. Let me know if you can hear me. Got a whole new setup here and want to make sure this is working. So as we get comments on here, you guys can let me know if everything's working on your end. So anyway, we're going to do a live Q&A as well as a show some critiques of the CSS once people hop on here. All is going well, thank you. Let me know if you're hearing me. All right, cool. Everything's working. Sweet. Good. Thank you very much for that. We are going to be taking questions as you guys get on here. I'll start it off with some of the things I've done this week. Good workout, good leg day yesterday, upper body day today. We're doing this outdoors. And it's cold. It's like 27 degrees out there this morning. 18 on Saturday. That sucked. But it's fun. It makes everybody a little bit harder, I think. And due to now COVID kind of closing down the weight room that we used to use in the winter, or just making it difficult to have groups in there. We're just staying outside again. Makes it easier. I don't have to deal with anybody. Um, and you know what? If you're going to be in the military, law enforcement, firefighter, and depending on where you live, you are going to be faced with cold weather at some point. So might as well start practicing with it. So it's good times. I used to never work out in the 30s outside. I mean, it was a rare event if you saw me running in the 30s. Now I'm running. I ran, I guess, like 3 miles today. It was 27. Not a big deal. I used to make it more of a big deal than it was, I think, and uh, kind of embarrassed for previous years of training. Could have been outdoors and enjoying it a little bit more. Let's see. I did an article this week on the psychological benefits of fitness, especially after reading some uh, really horrible statistics about COVID, depression, and anxiety, and people depressed with not being able to be social and seeing people and things like that, and just cooped up in the house, um, not exercising. Maybe put on the COVID 20 or whatever. I think the latest statistics were as people average weight gain of during COVID was over 20 pounds in a year. Some people did that 2 years in a row and now they're 50 pounds overweight. So that's not good, because fitness does a whole lot for you, not just make you look better naked, but it definitely makes you more productive, make you sleep better, um, give you better, self-esteem and just improved body image, higher energy levels, better mood. Um, let's see, improve confidence in your abilities, not just physical abilities, but just overall abilities. You walk in a room and you own it. A little more better posture when you do that. Improved outlook on life. And when you work out first thing in the morning, that's a big sense of accomplishment. You start accomplishing things. You start getting in a habit of getting things accomplished, by doing that. And it can really help you decrease symptoms of depression and anxiety, and this is from the American Psychological Association that says that. So reduction of stress, all that. So definitely recommend um, fitness for psychological benefits as well. In fact, next week I'm going to have a podcast on um, with Dr. Parsley, who is a sleep doctor, former SEAL, and was a medic, and then he became a doctor, and now he does his whole business is about getting better sleep. And we're going to talk about the benefits of sleep as well. Let's see. Foco says, drop from buds due to water confidence. That sucks. I've since been in the water daily. Good. That's the best way to do it. And feeling better than ever. Any tips on exercises recommended? Yeah, in fact, I got this great workout I'm going to share with you in the comment section. And this one is pretty much turns the drown proofing test into a workout. And this is something we do as its own workout. So we'll start off with like a 10-minute tread as our warm up in the water. And you try to do most of that without your hands. And then we transition into the drown proofing test where we'll do 2 to 3 minutes of each of the events, followed by a 100-meter swim in between each of the events. So, you'll probably get about 700, 800 meters, with all the different events, bottom bouncing, floating, you start off with treading, bottom bouncing, floating, front flips, back flips, travel for 100 without using your hands, hands tied behind your back, feet together. And by the way, this is all simulated. Obviously, we don't do, you can't tie your hands in our pool anyway. I don't recommend you even trying it. So you just simulate it. A good way to simulate that too is just get some rubber bands and put them around your ankles and, in your hands behind your back. That way, if you need to undo it, it's a good way to just pop the rubber bands and you'll be able to swim. Yeah, that's a great one. We do another one called life-saving lunges, where you and your partner, like your buddy goes down to the bottom, you jump in, rescue him to the surface, and then swim him to the other side of the pool, which is 25 yards away typically. Then you both get out and you walking lunge back to the deep end and you switch roles. Your buddy jumps in, you grab him, swim him back, go through that 5 rounds each. So you get 10 rounds of lunges across the pool and you get 5 rescues each, and you're rescued 5 times. You can flail a little bit and panic and make it harder for your buddy to get yourself across the pool. But yeah, that's a great one. We do that on leg day. So we typically do the drown proofing workout I just mentioned. We do that on mobility day, but you can do it on any day really. Only takes like 30 minutes. And it's a good little workout. You can make it a little supplement to your swimming workout. Make it a cool down or something even. Let's see. When you are running, get a burning sensation in the back of your calves and down. What can you do to stop that? Good question. I have big calves, and so I have had to work really hard at getting flexibility in my calves and ankle mobility. And those two alone are very helpful with having issues with your calves. Now, could be you're running on your toes, and that's going to just really jack your calves up. So you might want to try to relax your ankles a little bit when you run. Maybe not run on your toes. Unless you're doing sprints, you're going to run on your toes. But if you're just jogging or running at a good clip, good goal pace, you don't want to necessarily run on your toes. You do like a midfoot strike versus a forefoot or a heel strike even. Maybe that'll help, but definitely you want to focus on your mobility. Foam roll, that's a really good one. Foam roll from your Achilles all the way up to behind your knee. That'd be helpful as well. Do you recommend always having a buddy when you do water training? Or at least there's a lifeguard available. Swimming alone is just potentially dangerous, period, especially if you're doing breath holds or anything potentially dangerous. But if you're just treading water, that's not that big a deal. Even swimming, freestyle swimming, CSS swimming, not that big deal if you got your own pool in your backyard, just want to swim. But anytime you're holding your breath, doing anything like that, I would definitely be worried about passing out underwater, because unfortunately people die every year doing those type of drills. Um, and most of them are spec ops candidates training on their own. And unfortunately, I'm seriously, you can Google this. People die every year that are candidates training for the Navy or Marines or whatever. You have hard tests with underwater swims, Air Force, PJs. So yes, I I would take it very seriously and do not do it alone. We had a guy 2 years ago. Yeah, Christmas. Not this Christmas, but the previous. I can't remember now. Maybe it's only a year ago. Yeah, I think it was a year ago. Last Christmas. Not this Christmas, but last Christmas. He died while home and passed out underwater. Now, there were a lot of things that caused that, most likely. He'd flown in from Maryland to Utah, was at altitude, holding his breath, so oxygen is a little bit less, so probably easier to pass out. But he did it just holding his breath underwater, doing a little challenge, and passed out. And his buddies didn't. And his buddies were there, just thought he was doing really well, and he died. And that really sucked because he was heading to Buds after graduation. He actually had a billet. Rest in peace. Former AW1 rescue swimmer. Really appreciate you and your videos. Oh, thank you there, Jamie. Now you're a DC, huh? Cool. Good deal. Let's see. I've had a messed up right shoulder for a week, very tight right wrist for a year, a hurting right elbow for 9 months, and a right ankle that hurts for 2 years. Damn. I can barely do arms anymore because my elbow hurts. You're getting into a zone that is really above my pay grade at this point. I really doubt I can help you without, a doctor of physical therapy, assisting. Um, I would go to a doctor at this point, because those are way too long. Those aren't just little aches and pains that we can work around. When you're talking months with an elbow issue, I mean, it all could be tendonitis that's just never healed because you're not allowing it to heal, or it could be an actual joint issue that, once again, is way above my pay grade that I don't know how to handle or how to help you other than say, time to go to the doctor. Let's put it this way. After reading this, I would go to a doctor. I would not try to guess and try to figure it out. And, you hurt yourself somehow, and you need to figure out what's going on. Yeah, Jamie, the doctor of chiropractic medicine there, Ethan, says go to a chiropractor, do some dry needling, similar to acupuncture. That's definitely an answer as well. So, once again, above my pay grade, and I would get a physical therapist. Doctor of chiropractic medicine is also can be very beneficial to some of those nagging injuries as well. As long as they don't need surgery, anything torn or something. I just started CSS to pass my PST. On that note, after this question, I will do a CSS critique for you guys. And if you want, you can send me the a video of you swimming, and I will critique it for you as well. But let's do this. Let's see what he asks first. I just started CSS to pass the PST and having some trouble producing, propulsing, and gliding. Your videos help a bunch. Wondering if you have any tips for my kick. Yeah, you know what? Go to my TikTok channel, Stu Smith 50 on TikTok, and you will see a kickboard drill that I like to do. In fact, I may have even written an article on it. Let's see if I did. Kickboard drill, Stu Smith, CSS. So I just Googled this. Yeah, you can find it on Google if you do that. It's a YouTube article or a YouTube video I did a while back. But I basically do the kickboard drill like this. I'll do 25 yards with a board under my bottom arm and just kick and glide, kick and glide. See if I can get a 2 to 3 second glide from that kick. Then I do a 50 round trip without the kickboard and then pick up the kickboard again where I left it and do a 25 back and forth. So you do that 10 rounds and you got yourself a 750-yard swim workout that's really focusing on your kick. So I highly recommend trying that kickboard drill. I may wind up writing an article separately on just that workout, but there's a couple out there that yeah, I don't think I did a kickboard with this one now that I think about it. I just talk about his kick sucking on that YouTube video. But there is one in there. I know I did one on there's one of these on TikTok. We'll figure that out too. So let's see. Paul says, love your books and programs. Got a first class PST. No, nice. Thanks to your advice. Really grateful. Question, what is a good time for a 4-mile run? Good time for a 4-mile run is a 7-minute mile. In fact, I have a running plan to help you get to and through training, right? And this is a good one because it sets you up on a 7-minute 3 or 4-mile timed run pace, but it tries to push you a little bit on the 6-minute mile for like the 1.5-mile run. So that will give you a good 9-minute run pace for the 1.5 mile, but give you a 27:28 for the 4-mile timed run. So that'll put you in good stead with your class, even on a bad day. If you can do a 27:28 easy, you'll be through 4 to 5 minutes underneath the minimum standard of 32 minutes, your first phase. And that would put you in the top, I'd say I put you in the top 15, 20% of the class, typically, if you can get into that time frame. So just think 7-minute mile, a little bit under 7. If you can get a 27, it's even better. I think the fastest I ever did was a 26:30 at Buds. And so it's nice to be well under the minimum standard and not sweat that 4-mile timed run every week. All right, let me take a break from questions real quick. We're just going to go and share a screen. Going to share this CSS video. You guys should be able to see that, right? All right, good. So let's push off the wall. So we got a good kick off the wall here. Decent breaststroke pullout. Now notice everything that kind of screwed up right there. This transition, you get a lot of momentum off of this wall. You see that? That's about as fast as you will ever be in a 25-yard pool, these first 5-10 yards off the wall. So take advantage of these kick off the walls and be super streamlined. That's not bad. And you got to get a good arm pull, which this is kind of weak of an arm pull because it's all shoulders. You want to pull, like you bend your arms at the elbow, grab water and pull it like you're doing almost like you're doing a muscle up, all the way down to your hip. So you're pulling water here and then you're pushing water over there versus doing kind of like a jumping jack, which is very weak off the wall. You can get pretty far off of it, but you got to try to make these unidirectional forces pushing water behind you so you go in one direction. But what happens here, if you notice, like right here, there's no real direction of pull here. You're swimming sideways, right? You're not really pulling in this direction here, right? You're just pulling in this direction, right? It's only for a brief second, and then you get down there and you got to hold the glide. But watch this. See all that right there? That's like swimming with the brakes on when you transition out of the glide. I mean, this right here literally will just stop you in your tracks in the water. So you got to keep your arms close to your torso, not out here, right? Whenever you're recovering, every stroke your hands need to be touching your torso on the recovery up, not like out here, like that right there. And then you see this head pops up. So now you just translated all of this horizontal movement into a vertical movement now. So you just lost all horizontal forces. Now you're going up and down, right? So you just quit moving and you lost all your forward momentum, right? By doing that. So top arm, bottom arm, kick. So you see this arm back here? I don't know why it's behind you, right? You don't need to do that. Right? It's not a bad arm pull, but that right there is just getting out of the slipstream and it's just going to slow you down some too. And then notice the recovery, like the head pops up, that's slowing you down. And this arm recovery out here needs to be a little tighter to your body. Looks like the kick's pretty good, but you don't hold the glide enough. So you're already into that stroke like a second into it. So there's no glide. So if I were to try to say hold the glide for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull, you're already pulling a second and a half before I'd recommend pulling. Now you put it all together pretty well. So you got the timing of the stroke as far as the pull, breathe, kick, glide is concerned, but it's just a little bit weak. See that? Just stop right there. And that popping the head up every time, what that does is it sets your body and now this weird angle in the water. So you're swimming horizontally versus you're swimming diagonally versus horizontally, right? Which is not very streamlined as well. So that's slowing you down. Top arm, bottom arm. You know what? Something that may help you is to roll over on your belly. Like after you kick and you hold this glide, roll over on your belly a little bit on your glide, and then you get a better arm pull out of it because you can just kind of go straight. You can kind of lean towards the bottom and grab more water downward. It looks like, sometimes your arm comes out of the water when you're pulling. So you can grab a little more water. I find you can grab a little more water if you're kind of canted a little bit. You don't have to necessarily be on your belly when you pull, but 45-degree angle works really well for grabbing more water and then just rotating to breathe. All right, that was a good one. Lot going on there. Lot to fix. All right. Let's see what he says here. I think you have to be comfortable with a scissor kick. With the CSS, I believe you will be doing mostly fin work. Yes, absolutely. Can't do breaststroke kick with a pair of fins on. So absolutely work your scissor kicks. Running is hard if you're a big boy. Easier for me because I'm a lanklet. Got it. Yes, we all have our weaknesses. Even the big guys, yes, running is harder for the big guys. However, big guy with big legs, put on a pair of fins, can probably beat most of the class with weekly 2-mile ocean swims. just because he just powers through the water with those big legs. A little harder for the thinner guy with, runner legs. Um, Also, the first 4 weeks of buds is brutal on the endurance athlete, not so much on the bigger guys, because boats and logs, you want to have some durability during those first 4 weeks of boats, logs, rucking, hell weeks, fireman carries up and down berms. All those things really are challenging to the smaller framed student, right? But 4 mile timed runs are really hard for the big guy. So everybody has a weakness, and that's something that you have to realize. And you want to be able to work on that weakness as much as you can prior to going. Otherwise, your weakness will be exposed within the first day of buds. I promise you. And now, then you got to bring your A game every time you do that event, and you got to suck it up, and it becomes mentally and physically challenging at the same time. See, how should a candidate prep for SOAS for both interviews and physically? Good question. Um, well, I would definitely get to know some uh, current events that are going on, maybe even spec war. There's a website that I really like, and they have a great newsletter that tells you a lot of what's going on in special ops. And they're basically just it's called sofx.com. It's a free newsletter. I recommend I get it every day, and I'll read probably half a dozen articles on what's going on in spec ops world. It's not just SEALs, it's special forces, all that. Having an idea of what's going on geopolitically around the world is um, very smart to do. Being a SOAS candidate means you've had some college experience, be able to do book reports, because you'll probably be given a topic and you have to do a presentation on it. Interview skills, take some interviews, you know, be able to answer, why do you want to be a SEAL? Those are very important questions. Why do you want to do this? Don't be stupid and say you want to kill people and blow stuff up, because it's not going to be a good answer for you. Um, why do you want to serve your country? Those are deep questions that you need to have answers to, regardless of you're having an interview or not. You need to have an answer to that question, because you're going to be cold, dark, water, night, wet and sandy, and a question is going to pop into your head at some point. Why are you doing this to yourself? And you need to have an answer. What does that moment of truth look like for you? If you have an answer, that's great. If you don't, that sucks. So a lot of people lose it at that point if they don't have a good answer why they want to serve. So a little bit different for the officer candidate, like you said, with the interview stuff, but practice taking some interviews. Never a bad idea. Let's see. Do you have any programs for weight training? Yes, of course I do. Squats, press, deadlifts, aiming for more gains beyond calisthenics. Yes, I have winter lift cycles. In fact, why do you need to do a winter lift cycle? I am going to put this link in here, because I have multiple winter lift. I got tactical strength. I have Navy SEAL weight training workouts book. I have tactical fitness has some weights in it as well. The fall winter lift cycle is all about adding weights to building strength while you maintain some cardio and muscle stamina as well. So it's a little bit different. I don't necessarily have a true like hardcore strength program where you're going to do 5x5s and rest for 5 minutes in between lifts. That's not what I do. It's more of a tactical strength training program where it's more of an active rest in between heavier sets. So it's a little bit different than your typical strength gains. But yeah, it's hypertrophy programming as well as strength gains. Yeah, look into the fall winter lift cycle. That's probably where I would start you off because that's one of my more recent ones. Can I give you an example of my leg day workout? Yeah, got tons of leg day workouts. Boom, Air Force, Marine Corps, fall winter lift cycle, tactical strength. But they look like this. We just did legs yesterday, and we did a warm up with a squat pyramid. So you do one calisthenic squat, run 100 yards, not a sprint, just a jog. And you do 2 squats. Then you run 100 yards, do 3 squats. Run 100 yards, do 4 squats. Keep moving back and forth like that till you get to 10, and that's a pretty good warm up. Takes about 5 minutes. And then after that, we usually run a mile, just get warmed up a little bit more. Then we come back into the weighted section where we'll do deadlifts. And we usually mix deadlifts with another activity. Sometimes we'll do like a deadlift with a kettlebell swing, or we'll do deadlifts with hanging knee ups. That's a good one. Sometimes we'll do deadlifts mixed with pull ups, so we'll do a pull day, so to speak. But yeah, deadlifts. Sometimes we'll do farmer walks mixed with deadlifts. So there's always kind of like an active rest exercise in with the deadlifts that can help you kind of stretch out a little bit. So you can do that well. And you can, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Leg day. So yeah, so anyway, we just start off with deadlifts with some kind of active activity, active rest activity. Then we go into more of a squat, lunges, farmer walks, fireman carries. We'll run uphill sometimes, and we will do some chest carry lunges. That's a good one. So it's a little circuit there for that part of the workout. And then depending on your branch of service, what you're trying to do, I'll have the Army guys go for a ruck, and I'll have the Navy guys go for a swim with fins. So that is kind of what I call my Spec Ops leg day. So you're always training some strength, but you're also working the muscle stamina, because I promise you, no matter what Spec Ops job you're going to be doing, you'll probably have a log involved, and that will include many, many reps of lunges. In fact, you might even do a log mile of lunges at one point. So we tend to build up to about a quarter mile worth of lunges. And the goal is over time is to not be sore after doing a quarter mile worth of lunges, whether that's with weight or without weight. And usually it's about a 40-pound chest carry lunge for a quarter mile. So we do a lot of different types of leg days. So I mean, I can't really say, in one answer explain a leg day. We try to mix in crawls and carries and lunges and hip hinges and squats, into what we call leg day, as well as the actual activities you're going to be doing in your future when you are going through these selection programs, whether it's a lot of lunging, it's a lot of rucking, it's a lot of swimming with fins, things like that. So just trying to build the legs up for that kind of challenge. Are 2-mile swims performed with lead arm, trail arm? No, that is the Air Force version of swimming. We do the CSS at Buds in the Navy. So CSS with fins. So you actually use that top arm to pull and rotate over to breathe. And if you go to my TikTok, you'll see us swimming with fins constantly. In fact, that's what I'll do. Let me share with you what that looks like. I'm going to share my screen here. And let's see, where's my Chrome tab? TikTok. Boom. All right, let's see. I just did a CSS with fins. Let's see what this one looks like.
Another CSS critique, but this one's with fins on.
All right, so he's just, notice a lead arm trail arm would be this position right there, right? He's just keeping that bottom arm out extended. That top arm does not move. It just stays right on your hip, and all you do is flutter kick. That's the lead arm trail arm model of CSS. You just stay in this position right here the whole time. The CSS version is you actually can use the top arm and turn to breathe, use that bottom arm just like you do without fins. Only difference is you can just constantly flutter kick with these fins on and keep that as your main unit of propulsion. The one thing though you don't want to do, and I kind of pinged him on this one, is you don't want to roll over on your belly when you're doing CSS because it shortens your kick. See how your ankles come out of the water? So you want to stay on your side when you do a scissor kick with fins on. Without fins, like on this side, he's doing it pretty well. For some reason on the other side, when he was coming back, he kind of rolled over on his belly. You can get much better kicks over here when you're on your side the whole time. So hopefully you guys saw that. Yeah, looks like you did. All right, let's see. A couple more questions. What workout would be a good practice for swimming if you've never swum before? Woo! Man, just get in the pool and try to get across the pool. Sets of 25s, right? I have this one workout I call the 50-50. That might be too much for you at this point. You do 50-meter freestyle, 50-meter CSS, and you take a little breather if you need it. I put it in the things here, but you know, if you've never done a swim workout before, chances are your technique is horrible. So you probably need to take some lessons and actually practice your technique, or have somebody film you, send it to us, and I can tell you what you're doing wrong. But you need to watch some videos on how to do things, how to swim, and probably the best way to do it, the quickest, is to actually take lessons from somebody who knows how to swim, swim coach, knows how to teach swimming, and save yourself a lot of heartache, and you're not creating bad habits when you're trying to learn. So there you go. Many of your workout programs require a gym, a pool, 50-yard field, sometimes mixed up in a single day. Kind of hard to do if you don't have comp-like facility available. Any suggestions? Yes, you don't necessarily need a 50-yard field. You just need a place to run. That could be a driveway. That could be down the street. It could be a parking lot, be a tennis court, basketball court. Just run back and forth. A pool, yeah, that's a tough one. If you're trying to prepare for buds, you're going to need a pool or a place to swim. A gym, not necessarily. Don't necessarily need a gym. I got a great workout right here. Boom, calisthenics and cardio. Don't need a gym. Though there is swimming in there. And what I like to do when there's no pool is pool replacement exercises would be like a bike, rowing machine, an elliptical, or you know what? When we lost our gym because of COVID last year or year before last, we lost the pool. We just ran more, and we swam. Luckily, it was in the spring and summer at one session, and we just swam in open water. So it wasn't pretty, but we did it. So don't make excuses. Get after it. If you have to adjust, can't do a bench press, do weight vest push-ups. If you can't do pull downs, do pull-ups. A lot of different ways to make it work for you. All right, let's see. Difference in water con between Navy and Air Force. You know what? They're very similar. I will say this: the Air Force does this one exercise that's pretty darn hard, and that is buddy breathing, tread, snorkel. So you got to buddy breathe with a snorkel while you're treading, and an instructor's beating on you, dunking you and causing you to not be able to breathe, and really tough. So I would say that would be one of the big differences. All the others are pretty similar. You're treading a lot. You're treading with weight. You're treading without weight. You're doing underwater swims. You're doing drown proofing. At Buds, we do knot tying, underwater knot tying. That's pretty challenging on a breath hold. Not sure where else they do that, but it's a good skill. You should learn it. Let's see. You mentioned how SEALs are over capacity right now. Is Force Recon more in need of people? I don't know. Good question. I know Army SF and Rangers are. In fact, they're paying people to join. And if you finish the pipeline, I think you get 30 grand if you go SF, or 20 grand if you go Ranger, 10 grand if you go airborne. So they're paying nice little bonus to finish the pipeline. SEALs and Recon are not doing that. So I would say probably not necessarily in need of a lot of people when they're not doing special recruitment bonuses. Let's see. A couple more questions here. See, once the big milestones have been met for the big 3 lifts, those are pretty good milestones, I would say. Plenty. That's definitely good enough. Do you think it's okay to just maintain those numbers and place a higher emphasis on run and calisthenics? Yes, I do. If if you can maintain those numbers, that's a great standard of strength. It's a good foundation of strength, but then you got to work on your endurance a lot, and your calisthenics muscle stamina too. Your grip is going to be another one. Will help you with rope climbs and things like that, obstacle courses. But and also work on your overall body weight. Body weight at Buds is really tough. I mean, there's guys that can get through at 140 pounds, and there's guys that can get through at 220 pounds. But the majority of people that make it through are in that 175 to 195 range. Not too heavy, not too light, strong enough, fast enough, not too big to be able to run fast, not too small to get crushed by logs. So there's kind of like that happy medium right there in the top of that bell curve, where most people are making it through. Christian, thank you. Let's see. So, do I carry during your exercise? I mean, firearms in your personal exercise, or do you have those blue plastic rifles to simulate a rifle, or not at all? No, we do have rubber ducks when we need to have them, but we call it, the blue plastic or the orange plastic are called rubber ducks. No, we don't do a lot of that. If we do, it's over at the Naval Academy with those guys, where it's a little more, on a Navy base, nobody cares. But if you're running down the street where we train here locally, somebody might say something, be a little freaked out. So we avoid that out in town. Calisthenics and cardio, where can I purchase that? If you go to Stu Smith Fitness, you will see it. StuSmithFitness.com, right at the bottom. Could you tell us about third phase of Buds? There is, it's on the rock. It's on an island called, we call it the Rock. but it's an island off the coast of California where you'll spend probably 6 weeks out there. The first 4 weeks of third phase, you'll do land nav training locally, do some shooting, and then you'll go out to San Clemente Island and you'll do a lot more shooting, demolition, mission planning, and start doing kind of SEAL missions out there just for fun. Good training, good evolution. A lot of running, a lot of rucking. There's a 6 mile swim out there with fins. Beautiful water out there, by the way. You can see like 50-foot visibility. Incredible. So it's at least it's a picturesque swim for 3 hours, so you don't get too bored. But it's pretty high intensity. I mean, we were doing a lot of run swim runs and combat conditioning courses that took 3 or 4 hours to do, where you would ruck, you would swim, you'd swim in, you'd go for a ruck, you do an obstacle course, you'll come back, go to the range, shoot, and then do it all in reverse. Just kind of simulate a mission. Those were fun workouts, I thought. But it's good. It's a good challenge. Came back really good shape after that one. Stu, for you guys prepping for SFAS in the Army, do you have them practice with a map and compass for a STAR course? We don't have a lot of areas around here where we can do map and compass, but we do have a map and compass clinic that is close by, and we have done one with a local high school orienteering team, which was a lot of fun. We actually just went with them on their orienteering races. So if you don't know what orienteering is, it's kind of like cross country with a map and compass that some high schools have. A lot of fun. One of my buddies is runs the ROTC program and coaches orienteering out there, and yeah, that's how we've kind of answered that issue. But yeah, absolutely, you definitely want to get a map and compass in your hand before you join the Army. Just like I tell guys, you want to put a regulator in your mouth and learn scuba before you go to dive school or go into the Navy. Heard they're not having Buds Prep anymore. Nope, that is not true. It is just moved over to Buds. So it used to be right after boot camp, you go to Buds Prep, which was still in Great Lakes. They have since moved that over to Coronado. So right after boot camp, you'll fly out to Coronado and you'll start kind of a Buds Prep / orientation cycle, 6 to 8 weeks. And they've come up with a new name for it. They've changed the name to it like 3 times now. So I'm not even sure what they call it. But there is like a 6 to 8 week period before you class up to start first phase at Buds. So call it Buds Prep, call it Buds Orientation, call it whatever you want. It's does the same thing. Let's see. Do your FBI ebooks prepare you to just get to the training or to get through the training as well? Well, good question. I have FBI book that really focuses on the PFT primarily. However, it's not just that. It will focus on some of the events that you will see at the academy. But I do have a phase 2 FBI ebook, and if you read the title on that or the subtitle, it's basically preparing you for the academy, but helping you maintain PFT scores that you're going to need to pass, when you get to the academy. What's the point of underwater knot tying? To actually secure underwater demolitions to objects. It's old school UDT test. Back in the mission when you would actually swim in demolition to clear a beach, there might be a beach obstacle, and you would use various knots to tie those events, but tie those haversacks to those obstacles. So you would need to know a few knots or two to be able to do that. Do you recommend 18 Alpha Fitness? I don't know anything about it. I'm sure it's fine. I have a way to train, not the way to train. There are many other ways to train. So I unfortunately don't know anything enough about it to be able to comment on it. I'm sure it's pretty specific to that job. So if you're going SF and probably created by an SF guy, not a bad option. All right, so we're at 50 minutes here. I am going to show one more video of the CSS. Let me pull. Did I show 2 already? I don't think I showed 2, did I? I don't think I did. All right, so I'm going to. I showed my. I know what I did. I showed my TikTok. So. Oh, I already showed this one, I think. Yep, I showed this one. So my bad. My bad. Let me show one more. This is a different CSS guy. Coming from Spain, actually. Guy sent it to me from Spain. I think he's trying to do one of those Seal Adventure things or something. Older guy. Let's see what he looks like. Kick off the wall. Good. That's decent pull, but you notice what he did there? No loss of momentum compared to the other guy. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Let's see. What did you get here? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Yeah, not bad. Probably could hold it a little bit longer. Got a little extra flutter kick in there. Not too bad, though. Good streamline off the wall. Once again, good transition. Notice, see how his arms go really close to his body when he's recovering? That's how you want to do it. This looks like his weak side, so he's probably not gliding enough compared to his strong side. A lot more stroking going on here compared to what he did earlier. So a lot of people have this issue when swimming their weak side compared to their strong side. Strong side is probably a better kick. You just got to practice the weak side a little more. Now, notice the difference. Yeah, he's much more smooth on this side compared to this side. So that was my only ping on him, was you got to practice the weak side a little more. Hold the glide a little longer, practice that kick. Don't do the flutter kicks right after the kick. That kind of washes your kick power away. But yeah. So there you go. Let's see. How deep should you be squatting? Yeah, I would say a little under 90 degrees. You want a full squat in there. There's no sense doing half squats. If you can't do a full squat, you might want to lighten the load, go a little deeper. You'll get more out of it the deeper you go, for sure. All right, that's a good one to end on. So if I missed your question, you can email it to me, stu@stewsmith.com, or you can just comment in the comment section, and I will get to it later. You guys should check out stewsmithfitness.com. Some of those products that you were asking about, all of them are there in book or ebook format. Also, there's coaching as well. So if you guys can swing back by, check it out. You get a Compete 2.0. We'll save you 20%. Compete 2.0. Don't forget, go to TikTok if you want to see nothing but CSS critiques, because that's all I do over there, is just make it a one-stop shop for you guys for seeing CSS critiques. You don't have to dig in my YouTube channel for hundreds of videos to find the CSS critiques that I did years ago there, but they're still good. if you want to hunt around on YouTube as well. All right. I guess that's it. I will chat with you guys later. Send your questions if I missed them. We'll see you. Have a good one.